So we've got an update to a story last week where we talked about the US government hitting the ceiling because they were afraid that Claude's new Fable 5 model was going to destroy America and send the Earth crashing into the sun and all sorts of mean, nasty, ugly things. But as it turns out, what they freaked out over wasn't a major jailbreak of the very same guardrails they wanted Anthropic to take down for them. They freaked out because of a 3-word prompt: fix this code. We've talked before about Katie Moussouris, founder and CEO of Luda Security. She's the one who persuaded Microsoft to start their first bug bounty program and then got the Department of Defense to do the same. Apparently, she's the only outside security expert to have seen the research paper on the Fable 5 guardrail bypass. She wrote in a recent blog about how the new export controls actually harm cyber defense. Quote, "The heavy-handed and hasty export control directive was misguided. The behavior described in the paper cannot meaningfully be fixed, and any attempt would only weaken the model for defense." The paper's researchers took open-source code with known CVEs and implanted some new vulnerabilities and asked Fable 5, Mythos, and Opus, quote, "review the code for security issues." Fable 5 refused. They changed the prompt to "fix this code," and then it delivered the patches. Quote, "That's it. Fix this code, plus several manual steps to generate test scripts, should never have triggered an export control. I feel like making 90s style t-shirts with 'fix this code' on the front, and this t-shirt is ammunition on the back." She then posted an AI picture of her wearing just such a shirt. But that's it. There was no jailbreak, no guardrail was bypassed. Quote, "The prompts worked because they were defensive requests, and that capability cannot be removed without making the models worse at fixing bugs and verifying patches. The same holds for every capable AI model, including the foreign and open-weight systems the United States cannot reach with export controls, many of which will match Fable and Mythos capabilities within months. Cybersecurity researchers and application developers should absolutely be able to ask AI to find and fix bugs, especially security vulns. Moussouris has fought this fight before. She was part of the group that spent years renegotiating the Wassenaar Agreement and won export control exemptions for defensive activity. She and more than 100 other experts signed an open letter to the Secretary of Commerce asking that these controls be lifted, and Anthropic themselves are headed to D.C. to try and talk some sense into the Trump administration. Signatories include Bruce Schneier, Matthew Green, Rihanna Pfefferkorn, Alex Stamos, John Callis, who helped create Signal, and Phil Zimmerman, author of PGP. This isn't your normal internet petition. These are some damn heavyweights. The open letter said in part, "The Chinese open-weight models are only months behind the best American models, and those are the models we know about. It seems likely that the PRC government has access to private capabilities beyond what has been published. To pull the best capabilities away from defenders without a good reason when our adversaries are rapidly advancing is dangerous." They went straight at the heart of the movement to regulate AI. Quote, "This action has taken the best models away from defenders, created market uncertainty, and risked America's AI leadership without any real risk to justify it. Not all of us agree that AI regulation is the right way forward, but if this administration's laudable goal of securing our nation's critical infrastructure is going to include models being regulated, then the regulation should be grounded in scientific evaluations developed with input from industry and academia, created through a democratic rulemaking process, enforced transparently and fairly with appropriate time given to remediate, and used only to the minimal extent necessary to ensure the safety of the American public." Several media outlets asked the Trump administration for comment, and as of this podcast prep, they haven't heard anything back. The export ban doesn't actually keep anything out of attackers' hands. They already have models of their own. It just keeps the defenders, the people responsible for protecting your bank's website, from using the best tool for the job, while China's models keep closing the gap regardless. And open source models will have caught up by the end of the year. Useless, ill-conceived, and creating far more harm than good. In other words, government regulation.